Hello lovelies, welcome back to Squeaky's Cauldron, or welcome if this is your first time here. I'm your host, Sarah Evergreen. Thank you for taking a little bit of time today to come hang out in my weird witchy corner of the internet and spend some time with me. Today we're going to be talking about KnotMagick, using string and knots in order to manifest your intentions, make your spells come true, improve your life, get more grounded, all that good stuff. Before we get into the episode, I'd like to invite you to like, comment, subscribe if you are enjoying these videos. Every little bit helps, and I love hearing from all of you. Also, if you are interested in working with me one-on-one, I am offering coaching. You can check out the link in the bio or go to www.squeakyscauldron.com/coaching for more information. Okay, now on to the show. KnotMagick is a simple, powerful way to really increase the potency of your spells and intentions. It's a way to focus your energy into a thing that you can then display in your home or keep on your person in order to remind you of the magic that you are working in this world. It's easily accessible. All you need is your intention, yourself, and some string. I prefer to use some kind of natural fiber. You can use hemp or jute or twine or cotton string, wool bits from a knitting project, or you can even use your hair, which adds another level of, I think, intensity to the spell if you choose to go in that direction. And if your hair is long enough, of course. It's very easy to adapt. You can use KnotMagick for any kind of spell that you're working, whether it's to bring in money or to manifest love or psychic empowerment or protection or banishing. Any of these can be utilized when working with knots, because this is just a vehicle in and of itself and can be adapted to any purpose. You can use just the string, or you can augment it with other corresponding agents such as stones, bones, fossils, beads, rocks, herbs, feathers, essentially whatever you can either fit on the string to put in the knot, or that you can just kind of like shove into the knot and hold it in place with the knot itself. It's also very low visibility. So what I mean when I say this, I had a comment from a viewer recently, you know who you are, hi, who is concerned about magic that can be used when in a situation where using magic or being known to use magic would be dangerous for one reason or another. This, because it uses such basic ingredients and because it's very easy to just hide somewhere where you want to hide it, whether that be, on your person, wrapped around your wrist, or stuffed under your bed, or put in your wallet, depending on what kind of string you're using. This is the kind of working that will attract very little attention. The actual act of creating your knot spell can be done within the space of 15 minutes. It can be done anywhere, in a park, in your bedroom in the middle of the night. All it takes is your intention and some time and some focus and some string, which you likely already have laying around the house, and again, if your hair is long enough, you have literally growing out of your head. One other ingredient for this kind of magic that I find particularly powerful, but is optional, is rhyme. And I appreciate using rhyme in all of the magic workings that I'm doing. It has a trance-like quality, I believe. It can affect the mind in the same way that shamanic drums affect the mind, that Gregorian chanting affects the mind, in that it helps shut off the conscious mind and allows us to get deeper into the subconscious, into an alpha state, where we are more open and receptive to the energy of the universe. And at the same time, we're more able to touch it with our active workings. So we both bring it in and put our energy out more effectively when we're in this state of mind. And I'll talk about meditation and alpha states in a later episode. I've got that already planned, so look out for that. I enjoy writing my own poetry to work with in spells, but there is one set of words that I really like using with KnotMagick that has been attributed to Doreen Valiente, who is a witch. I believe she's still alive, but she's written a lot of really impactful books about witchcraft and the practice of magic, particularly I believe in the 60s and 70s, but don't quote me on that. So I will be including her words, her verbiage around working with a knot spell in the blog post that comes out along with this episode. You can refer to that blog post if you're looking to have just a black and white version of what we're going to be going through today to refer back to. How do I work with KnotMagick? Well, the very first step, as with any kind of magical working, is you want to get very clear on your intention. This is the basis of so much. If we know exactly what we're trying to draw in and what we're asking the universe for, it's much more likely that we will get a response that is aligned with what we want. So if I ask the universe, please bring me love, there's so many different versions of love, but if I ask the universe, please bring me a lover who is supportive and kind and has blue eyes, there's a much higher chance that I will meet someone who is supportive and kind and has blue eyes and wants to be in a romantic relationship with me, and vice versa too, of course. So get clear on what you're asking for. And when you do this process, you know you've probably already got something in your mind that you want. I want to challenge you to go a little bit deeper. See the thing that you want, and then ask yourself, why is it that I want that? What is it about that thing that I actually want? What is it that's really important to me? So instead of, I am calling in $1,000, or I want a higher paying job, like what is it about that higher pay? What is it about that $1,000 that you believe will become manifest in your life once you achieve that? Is it freedom? Is it a sense of security? Is it the ability to pay rent the next month? Which, again, like links back to security. Just take some time to look at that. Because when you call in $1,000, great. Okay, so maybe you'll manifest $1,000 and maybe this spell will bring you $1,000. But if you call in true security, then that $1,000, which is going to come in and go out pretty quickly, this true security, that's a thing that can last. That's a thing that can give you a real grounding. And when you're working hard to manifest that, then you have to outlay less energy. So instead of $1,000 every month so that I can pay my rent, it's true security. And that security lasts from month to month. It also affects a much bigger picture than that $1,000 in itself would. So start with your intention and get really beautifully clear on your intention. The next step is to actually move into the space of working the magic. So you'll want to cleanse yourself and cleanse your space in a way that feels appropriate to you. This can take on many different versions, but essentially you want to signal to yourself, to that subconscious mind, that alpha state, and to the universe that you are entering into a sacred intentional space. And this can be as simple as washing your hands in clean water, envisioning the distracting energies from the world just kind of coming off of you. Just make sure that the space that you're working in has a level of cleanliness to it and a minimum of distractions when you're working. And then you sit down and you ground and center yourself in whatever way that you know how. And if you're not familiar with these practices, you can check out some of the, I think, earlier episodes of Squeaky's Cauldron, the podcast. I have this whole series on how to move through a ritual, including grounding and centering, casting a circle, calling in deities, all of this. So go check that out if you need more information about that, or there's lots of videos on YouTube as well if you don't want to get off the platform. One thing that I find really helpful in this part and for the rest of whatever spell that I'm doing is music. Music can really set a mood, and it can also, once again, start to trigger that alpha brain state. So I will include in the show notes a link to the playlist on Spotify that I use that always just really gets me there. When I was doing this particular spell, I put that on and just immediately started crying, which is a very good indicator to me that I am moving into a space that is more receptive and open, because those emotions are coming up, things that needed to be expressed that hadn't been. And clearing those things out, even just a little bit before going into the actual working, can help create a much clearer channel for the energy to move through me. Once you find yourself grounded and centered in a way that feels good to you, this can be a good time to call in your helping spirits, whether that's a deity, like working with kate, or if you're just calling in your ancestors or your guardian angels or whoever you tend to work with. Now, this step is optional. If you are not actively working with any helping spirits that you name and that you focus on, you can skip this, but I think even just calling out to the universe and being like, hey, assist me in this, again, it gets you in connection with something bigger than yourself. And I've found that trying to do magic when relying on mine and only my energy, it can be very draining and it's less impactful. I also like to light a candle. This helps me focus. It, again, signals to my brain that I'm entering into a sacred space. It just sets the tone of things really beautifully, and I think like having a scented candle can be very nice. Also, you can use the candle to increase the power through way of correspondence. So if you are working a magic spell, if you're working a money spell, you can light a green candle, a love spell, a pink candle, passion spell, a red candle, this kind of thing. Or a white candle is a good catch-all. So once you've created this working space for yourself, start to focus on your intention. Feel what it would feel like in your body once it becomes manifest. How is your life going to change? How are your emotions going to respond? What is it going to physically feel like? What is your day going to look like? And allow these feelings to move into every cell of your body. Really feel them. Because we always have access to all of the emotions of the human spectrum in our body because we've experienced them. Even if it's ancestrally, we have experienced all of these emotions, and we can always get in touch with them, even if it's just for a little while, in order to create that empathetic and sympathetic connection to what you're trying to manifest. And let all that be present in your body and acknowledge it, and also bring through a sense of gratitude. Gratitude for this thing already manifesting. Gratitude for all of the steps that it took to get you to that point. Because gratitude, too, is a very powerful magnetic force that will help to increase the power of your manifestation, of your spell work. And once you feel in a strong place with your intention and that sensation in your body, it's time to begin tying the knots. So there's a few ways of going about this. One is that you can just tie one knot after another, chanting your intention, chanting whatever poem that you've written, or you can do 9 knots. And I prefer the 9 knot method. It's the 3 times 3, 3 being a very powerful magical number. I just like the roundness of it, I suppose. And like I said, I use Doreen Valiente's words when I do my KnotMagick, and that is based on the number 9. I don't know why I did that, the number 9 as well. With each knot that you tie, bring more energy into your body. Allow energy from the earth to come up into you and move into the knots, so that by the end of it, you've got this piece of twine or string or hair that's just bursting with energy from yourself and from the earth and from the universe around you, the energy of your intentions. When you're done with all of your knots, whether you've added extra herbs or stones or whatever, sit with your now finished witch's ladder or piece of KnotMagick, however you want to describe it. Sit with it, and again, just still staying in that sensation of having this thing that you're calling in already, and this deep sense of gratitude for having it and for wanting to have it too. Because I believe that every desire that we get, every deep bone desire that we get is a message from the universe telling us this thing that we want is something also that we kind of need for our evolution and our spiritual journey. So to be aware of those desires is a gift in and of itself, even if it might at times feel frustrating when they don't come through immediately. I'm very familiar with that. After you've sat in this space for a while, take some time to thank your helping spirits, the universe, etc., and then close your circle in whatever way is appropriate to your practice, even if it's just blowing out the candle and letting some of your energy, that excess energy, move back into the earth. Then with your string, with all your beautiful knots in it, you can keep it on your body, wrapped around your wrist or your ankle, maybe tucked inside of a shoe or your wallet, or hang it up on a wall, or keep it under your pillow. The options are endless. Ideally, you'll want to keep it close to you or within your line of sight as much as possible if you feel like you can display it. Just as a kind of reminder to stay open to whatever opportunities that this spell is going to bring forth for you. Because that's the thing, is like when we do a magic spell, it's not enough to just do it and then let it go completely. We have to do it, and then when the opportunities for fulfilling that manifestation that we're calling through appear to us, we have to move into those opportunities. And sometimes it can be easy to forget, I think, what we're calling in when the hustle and bustle and stress of daily life comes through. So having that reminder, I think, can be very important and helpful. So if you have worked with KnotMagick before, or if you go ahead and use this spell after watching this video, I would be very curious to hear about your results, how this worked for you, how it felt for you. Maybe something that you do differently than I've described in this video, because there are many different ways to do this. And before I leave you, I want to tell you a little story about the very first time I did KnotMagick. I was in high school, not in a very good place, and my magic practice was fairly dark and focused on manipulation at that point in time. That's a big reason, this spell I'm about to tell you about is a big reason why I stopped doing magic for a good 15 years. So I had a big crush on this guy that I was friends with, and he was dating another one of my friends. And I really wanted to date him. So I did a piece of KnotMagick to get him to break up with her. And I put it around my ankle, and about a day and a half after I'd done that, they broke up. She actually broke up with him. And the day after that, we were all in theater and we were at rehearsal, and he noticed the string on my leg. And he had some exposure and experience with the occult, and probably some psychic stuff going on there too. He's a Pisces. And he knew immediately what it was. And that really damaged our friendship. Of course, years later, I realized that that damage to our friendship was actually a very good thing. However, at the time, it hurt like hell. And I got pretty freaked out by the power of my magic and by the frame of mind that I was in. Even then, I recognized, like, this is not a good place to be doing this work from. So it's both a word of caution and a recognition of how powerful our magic can be. And a reminder to be very clear on your intentions and exactly what you want to call in, because it does make a difference. It does. And I want all of the best for you in this working and everything else that you do in your life. So, on that note, thank you for joining me. Again, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'd love to hear from you. Next week, we're going to be talking about Jesus. So that'll be fun. Stay tuned for that. I've got a nice witchy take on our main man. And if you're interested in working with me, again, check out the link in the description for coaching information. Also, please subscribe to Moon Pages. It's my bi-monthly newsletter if you're interested in working with the moon, getting custom rituals, tarot spreads, and other tips for working with her energy. So, thank you again, and take care of yourselves. And of course, as always, my lovelies, use your voice.